Novak keeping and manages to get back to the original line of scrimmage at the 32-yard line, picking up 5 yards on the option. Clock running down, and we're coming to the 2-minute warning right now.
Well, we have proven one thing here, that a good game eliminates a lot of the baloney with pulling the goalpost down early and students fighting and so forth. No one's even made a move toward the goalpost.
Of course, the students are not sitting in the first 5 rows of the stadium today. That was an interesting move by the athletic department. It certainly helped.
A lot of alumni happy about that.
Yeah.
Ball is handed to Shepko, and he gets down to the 32-yard line. Of course, this game, has been a close one, but there have been some in this series that have not been so close. Back in 1917, the Engineers won 78-0, and Lafayette returned the favor back in 1944, 64-0. There were a few people around, Denny and Ed, who said that we might get 64 points in this game between the two teams, but it's been a long way from that kind of football game. We also want to remind you to stay tuned at the end of this game. We'll be chatting for a few minutes with Larry Sheridan about the upcoming Lehigh University wrestling season and what to look for, and talking about some of the upcoming telecasts on Channel 39. So stay with us at the conclusion of today's football game for a look ahead at Lehigh University Wrestling 1981 and 82 with the voice of Lehigh Wrestling, Larry Sheridan. We have 1:25 remaining in the football game, and timeout continues on the field. Denny?
Record performances in many areas of annual giving during the past year added up to a record $10.6 million for Lehigh in all sources. The record-shattering gift total from over 17,000 contributors was announced by Don Stabler, Lehigh alumnus and chairman of the development committee of the Lehigh Board of Trustees. Gifts from over 16,000 alumni accounted for nearly $7 million of the total, putting Lehigh 5th in the nation in terms of dollars received per alumnus.
Okay, back we come now to game action. 1:25 remaining in the game. Lafayette's ball at the Lehigh 32-yard line. On the option, it's going to be kept by Novak. He gets inside the 30. There's a fumble, but it may be after the whistle. Shigo hit him, but I believe Novak may be down. And so Bill Russo is a minute and 13 seconds away from turning around one of the most remarkable football stories in the last many years in the Lehigh Valley. Lafayette 3-7 last year, and Bill Russo turning this team around this season. And it's with a little bit of personal pride that I mentioned that Bill is a graduate of Brown University. We turn out coaches like Joe Paterno and Bill Russo and Rip Engel now and then.
We do?
We do.
We do.
And of course, a fine coach at Wagner, and he really has turned this football program around at Lafayette College this season, no matter how this football game turns out.
Yeah, I was going to say, Shell, you're talking like it's over, and I certainly don't feel that way.
No, it's never over till the fat lady sings, somebody said.
Yogi said it's never over till it's over.
And the ball is at the 42. Well, we meant no matter how the game turned out, Ed. That ball is going to take a Lafayette bounce, and it doesn't go into the end zone. It stops right at the 4.
And Larry Sheridan has just pointed out that Lehigh is out of timeout. So you've got 96 yards to go in 1:05 and a very challenging 2-minute drill in 1 minute.
Gentlemen, any question on the MVP? Anyone want to hazard a guess?
Well, I put down Shepko and Shigo, and it's kind of a toss-up.
Oh, I wouldn't say Shepko. I might say Novak.
Or Novak. They've been giving it to quarterbacks every year.
I know.
I'd like to...
I'd vote for Wilson myself.
Overthrown, intended for Ryan at the 40-yard line. Lafayette's defense, I guess you could take the front 4 for Lafayette and give it to any of them. Shigo has been sparkling on defense for Lehigh in this football game. Novak has been superb. He's been in the entire game, as has Larry Mikulski. Both quarterbacks have been in.
It's very hard to see, but it seems to me that Lafayette made some adjustments at halftime, and Shigo was not nearly the factor in the second half that he was in the first half.
59 seconds. 59 seconds remain in the football game. Lehigh has it back at their own 4-yard line. Mikulski is going to throw it from the end zone, and it is intercepted by Calhoun. fumble the ball, but it may be after the whistle.
They blew it dead. Well, that's very fitting. Calhoun had a great day.
I tell you, I was going to say Wilson, but I think after hearing Calhoun's name one more time, of course, the votes are probably already in by now.
Yes, in fact, it just got the word Frank Novak is the MVP of the game.
A lot of prejudice for those quarterbacks.
I'll tell you, Calhoun deserved a shot at it. He was
really
in
did.
Mikowski's face all day, and I think it's very fitting he got this interception.
This is a day for the defenses, and I think the outstanding individual efforts were on both teams' defenses. And personally, it's a bit of a shame to ignore that type of performance.
Lafayette Leopards now will try to run down the last 50 seconds of this football game. Lehigh cannot stop the clock, and everyone just going to look up at that scoreboard and watch that clock tick on down.
And Ed, I asked you which one of us was going to sing "Turn Out the Lights, the Party's Over."
You've obviously never heard me sing.
And of course, for Lehigh University, John Whitehead, a splendid season. Lehigh finishing with a record of 8-3. John has had winning seasons every year here at Lehigh University, and tribute to the fine job that he's done in coaching this Lehigh team. And John said earlier that this was going to be one tough game, and he also mentioned at the press luncheon, Denny, that this was by far the finest Lafayette team that he has ever faced. Well, and the Leopards have shown that today.
They also managed to knock the Engineers out of the playoffs and the Lambert Cup all in one fell swoop, so you have to give an awful lot of credit to the Leopards.
And so that's it. The 117th meeting between Lehigh and Lafayette is history. John Whitehead going across
to the far side will be number 26. Number 82 will be Steve Wallace. Here we are. There's the kickoff. A nice high one. It's going down to about the 11, taken there by Steve Wallace, coming wide, but he can't get any running room. Gets up to about the 15, where he's hit and brought down by Bob Sharr, number 17.
Well, we'll see if Columbia comes out throwing the football. Last week, Mel, they came out, and 6 or 7 of their first plays from scrimmage were pass plays. We talked to Bob Nazo before the game. He says he likes to throw the football about 50% of the time. We may see it in the air more often than that. A flag on the play.
And while we're watching, there is the offensive line for Columbia, and you can read and see for yourself as we look to see what the penalty is. It's against Lafayette. Probably Keith Cockrell, number 83. It is 83. Cockrell out wide to the right. Number 44, Joe Cabrera, shifts deep. And he takes the handoff straight ahead across the 30 to about the 33 or 4-yard line. Joe Cabrera from Old Greenwich, Connecticut. Joe Scodani, number 58. A little All-America linebacker made the tackle on that last play. Now you see a shift in formation for Columbia with some motion, but the pitch back goes to Jim McHale, who's gone into the tailback position, number 22. And the strong safety, Roger Curlow, number 34, made the stop. Sam, that showed you a little pro action in there, a little play action, huh?
Well, Columbia uses a multiple offense. They'll do just about everything. They'll use 2 wide receivers, somebody in the slot. Let's see that on the replay. You see the quick pitch. It's an off-tackle play, a little bit obstructed on our screen, but there was some good blocking up front, although not much yardage on the play.
The ball is at about the 39-yard line. Third down just a little bit. They give it to the deep man, Joe Cabrera, and he should have gotten the first down. He went to about the 42 or 3, stopped by the right linebacker for Lafayette, George Wilson, number 65. Throwing a lot of passes. I'd like to see what his role might be this year.
We've seen a lot of running so far today.
Right. It was a first down, of course, and here is the first pass that Witkowski is trying to throw. He's got a good rush on him. Is he going to get rid of it? There's a marker at about the 22. There's a long pass downfield, and it is completed at the 22-yard line to Bill Reggio. He goes in for a touchdown, but as we called it, a marker at the 26-yard line upfield and it may be against Columbia.
I think it is against Columbia. I think it was a clipping on the play, Mel. We'll see in just a moment. They're going to have to give that young quarterback, Witkowski, good pass protection today. Even the best and most experienced quarterbacks have difficulty under a rush. That Lafayette defensive line puts on a good pass rush. In their 2 previous games, they've sacked the quarterback 6 times, which means that if they sacked him 6 times, they've pressured the quarterback at least twice as often.
That's very disheartening to any team, whether you're on the high school, college, or pro level, Sam, and you've been in so many of them. When you score a touchdown and you're really a long gainer and get the jump, and you got to penalty.
There was clipping on the play. That frequently happens on a busted play. Things become disorganized downfield. The defensive people lose sight of those receivers, and if the quarterback can scramble, as Mr. Witkowski obviously can, he can frequently find the open man downfield.
Operating out of a spread with Jim Pritchard, the only deep man. You got 3 wide receivers, but they handed off to Pritchard, the deep man, running straight ahead up to about the 16. They had to go to about the 40.
Pritchard carries.
To about the 48.
Stopped by Wilson.
Again, a change in strategy. Last week, Columbia came out passing the football. This week, they're determined to establish the running game. Picks up a few yards up the middle. That's a tough, experienced defensive line they're going against.
Again, you've got a spread situation with McHale, the deep man, and he takes the handoff. Number 22 doesn't get far. George Wilson, the right linebacker, number 65 for Lafayette, stops him.
Also, Tony Green, the middle guard for Lafayette, who is probably the best man at his position on that Lafayette football team. Coach Bill Russo had nothing but praise for Tony Green, who's an outstanding nose guard. Built like a nose guard, too. They're usually a little shorter than most of those other defensive players. He stands 5'11", 230, and like most good nose guards, extremely quick and strong.
We'll watch Columbia now again as they go into a spread with Jim Pritchard, the deep man, but Witkowski fakes and throws a pass. It could be intercepted. It almost was. By number 17, Bob Shars. He came in front of Bill Reggio, the intended receiver, number 84. When you lob him up like that, Sam, you're in trouble.
Not a good pass by Witkowski, especially when you're throwing over the middle. You want some zip on that football. He just did not have enough. You'll see he has good pass protection this time, the key for a young quarterback, but you'll also see that he does not have enough on the football. The receiver had to stop, allowing those defenders time to come over and deflect the football.
So we got a punt formation. Mike Scavina standing on his 5-yard line, single safety. Now 2-3 men drop back. Good hang time back there. And the ball is fumbled, and Columbia recovers on the 37-yard line of Lafayette. Hermine DeSantis, number 22, attempted to receive the ball, fumbled, and Dan O'Connor, number 85, fell on top of it.
Well, most football games are determined by the costly errors, the turnovers, the penalties, the mistakes up front, the missed assignments. Now this ball is kicked. He has plenty of time to feel it. Pretty good kick. He gets some height on the football. Fairway deep. The receiver has every opportunity to field it, and he just let's see if he takes his eyes off the ball. No, he looked it into his hands, or perhaps he didn't look it into his hands, but he should have held on to it.
1st and 10 for Columbia on the 37. A fake to the fullback, a pass. It is incomplete to Keith Cockrell, number 83. Bob Shar broke it up, number 17, the free safety.
Cockrell, good speed. You'll see that he gets down.
Cockrell, the flanker, is out to the near side. Bill Reggio, the split end, out to the far side, and you've got a split back set up, and that's a pass indication. Good rush put on Witkowski, but he's going to run with it, but he was tripped up at the 40. A good defensive play by Luke Dreher, the left tackle, number 56.
Yeah, but the first man in there was Tony Green, that middle guard, nose guard, the man we were talking about before, had the big rush on Witkowski.
It's 3rd down and 10 on the 37. Jim Pritchard back deep alongside Joe Cabrera. Again, that's a little flare looping pass to Jim McHale, the tailback. and he didn't get very far. He got to about the 34-yard line.
Well, one of the things you can do to slow down Tony Green is to run the screen. Now watch, this is a quick screen developing over the middle. The offensive lineman, in this case the center Steve Monteith, just hits Tony Green momentarily. You see the screen setting up. There are 3 or 4 Columbia lines in front of the ball carrier, but nobody picked up that one Lafayette player who got in there and disrupted the screen.
It was almost what you would call a forward screen.
Yeah, it was a screen up the middle. They use them anywhere on the field, but in that case, they were trying to slow up the nose guard, Tony Green.
4th down, and about 5 or 6 as they pass, and it's completed to Reggio. He gets down to about the 20-yard line. Bill Reggio, number 84, tackled by defensive left end 54, Ed Wallace.
Now watch the poise on John Witkowski on this play. He's getting some pretty good pressure. There are some people starting to come in. He knows they're going to be on him momentarily, maintains his cool, finds his man open the middle. When you go over the middle like that, you've got to throw between those linebackers. Not an easy assignment for a sophomore quarterback.
McHale and Pritchard are in there now, and Tom Norton out of the eye. There's a pitch to McHale, the deep man. He's trying to turn a flank, and he's down to about the 12-yard line, maybe almost to the 10, before the strong safety, number 34, Roger Carrillo, brought him down.
Well, they're moving the football. Of course, they had the break, the dropped punt, which set up this drive.
That Jim McHale, number 22, is just a sophomore from Scranton Prep. So we'll watch now as Columbia has the ball on with the nose of the ball just about the 10-yard line. And the deep man is Joe Cabrera, number 44, and in front of him is number 30, Jim Pritchard. You saw a little motion in there. Cabrera up the middle gets to about the 9-yard line where George Wilson, the right linebacker, stopped him.
Both of these teams use similar defensive structures, the 5-2 defense, and both teams have exceptionally good linebackers. The strength of both defensive units are the linebackers. In the case of Lafayette, it's Rich Doverspike, a sophomore, and I'm sorry, I had the mixed up. The linebackers are Joe Sladany, a senior, and George Wilson.
All right, you've got Jim McHale in there now, along with Jim Pritchard, the 2 backs, and it's McHale with the ball cutting back, but he cut right into the arms of 2 Leopard defenders, one of them number 70, Brett Larson. A flanker is out wide to the left, and Bill Reggio, the split end, is wide to the right as the quarterback throws his pass, and it's up for grabs, incomplete at the goal line, intended for number 87, the tight end, Dave Rowell.
Well, that's one of the things that John Witkowski, the sophomore quarterback, has to learn, that if you can't find the open man, if you're not looking in the right area, do not throw it up for grabs, even throw it out of bounds. Of course, in a goal line situation, you don't have that much to lose, except they might lose this field goal had it been intercepted.
Roger Carrillo and Bob Shard defended on that last play. Myro Loverick, number 9, will attempt the field goal for Columbia. He's a sidewinder. The ball is up, and it is good. And Columbia leads 3-0 with approximately 8 minutes to go in the first period. Held the ball, and we always have to give the holder credit. Columbia went 37 yards in 9 plays officially in 3 minutes and 25 seconds, picking up 2 first downs along the way with a key pass, a 12-yard pass to Bill Reggio. And now Columbia will be kicking off. Myro Loverick, who just kicked the field goal, number 9, will be kicking off number 22, Carmine DeSantis, and Al Cognigny, number 21. And taking the ball is DeSantis. He gets to the 25-yard line where Bob Pash, number 93, makes the tackle. Sam?
I do believe that the Lafayette Leopards are going to come out running the football. They've got a very big, strong, experienced offensive line. That offensive line averages 254 pounds. The strength of the offensive line is on the right side. Ed Stahl, 6'5", 280 pounds. Steve Bialy, 260. They might come out running to that right side.
1st and 10 on the 24 of Lafayette. Novak hands the ball off to Roger Shepko. Check that, Craig Williams, number 30, the fullback, straight up the middle, and boy, he went.
Boy, he went. He had good blocking, Mel, on the play, and also Craig Williams, pretty good runner. He did not play last week, had a bad ankle. He's a big boy, 6'2", 220 pounds, and you can see some of that power as he broke a tackle there and then picks up another 2 yards with 2 Lions on him.
13 yards altogether. This time it's number 40 carrying the ball, Roger Shepko, the tailback or left halfback, and he found a hole over on the defensive left side of Columbia where the left cornerback had to come up and make the tackle, Chris Meininger. There's the offensive line for the Lafayette Leopards. Clifford, DeBase, Yogan, Bialy, and Stahl. Second down, about 3. Jim Pruitt carrying. Check that, number 30, Craig Williams. Vince Pelini, number 46, the left linebacker, made the stop. And there are the offensive receivers, the split end. And there's the offensive backfield with Frank Novak, the quarterback, directing Shepko and Williams, numbers 40 and 30, respectively. First down for Lafayette. And there is Roger Shepko running the tailback spot, going across midfield into Columbia territory, getting to the 48-yard line where Vince Pelini, number 46, the left linebacker, stopped him.
Well, those 2 linebackers are the key to that Columbia defense. They're using inexperienced people up front. There's only 1 holdover on that defensive line, Tim Coleman, a returning junior. The rest are all in there for the first time this year.
Tom Quinn has gone in at split end. DeSantis goes in motion, the flanker, and Novak's pass is incomplete, intended for Craig Williams.
Novak, a sophomore, but has freshman eligibility. He had a knee operation in 1980, never did play.
There's the Lions defense with Coleman, Bosselina, Oprich, and Peters reading from left to right, and their linebackers Lindgren, Pelini, and Nevitt. Pelini is real good. Defensive backfield. You'll see a lot of Witherspoon in there. They're strong left this time, Sam, and a fake to the fullback, a rollout by Novak, and he's keeping the ball. He's down to the 40 of Columbia and to the 35. Frank Novak from Leominster, Massachusetts, stopped by Tim Coleman, Columbia's defensive left end.
Well, Coleman eventually got to him, but he should have never allowed him to get out of the pocket. The defensive end has responsibility for containing that quarterback, for taking an outside rush and preventing just this thing, which is a rollout, a bootleg. Coleman got caught up on the inside. He got around him. Eventually, you'll see number 80 come in to make the tackle.
After a flanker right and the split end left, they handed it off to Craig Williams, number 30, the fullback, stopped by the middle guard, 64, Carl Oprich, O-P-R-I-S-C-H.
Mr. Williams evidently has big thighs. Now, his nickname is the human thigh, a little bit like Earl Campbell, the Houston Oilers.
Tom Quinn in at split end, backs up Cognigny, is split out to the left, flanker out to the right is Gatehouse, and the pass intended for him is knocked down by number 46, Vince Pelini, and we just told you you'd see a lot of.
Pelini blitzing on the play. Again, Lafayette going with a young quarterback, Frank Novak, a sophomore. You want to put some pressure on the young quarterback. You don't want to give him time to set up and throw that football. You see, he doesn't drop back very far, which means that Vince Pelini got in there very quickly in order to get a piece of that football.
He used his 6'2.5" height to great advantage. Now with Cognigny and Quinn, you got from a short punt, or the shotgun, if you want to call it. The pass was intended for Jack Gatehouse, the flanker, who went a down and in pattern.
See the shotgun there. Again, evidence of the multiple offense that Coach Bill Russo uses with these Lafayette Leopards. They'll run from the I, they'll run from a T, pretty much always using 2 wide receivers. They also use a lot of drop back passing, as does Columbia.
3-0 2-0 Columbia with a little over 3-4 minutes to go in the period. First period, the ball is incomplete, intended for Jack Gatehouse, the flanker, with Bill Reggio. Wouldn't be Reggio. That would be Doug Lindgren, number 94, the outside linebacker.
Now, if you've heard it once, I guess we've heard it 1,000 times. That receiver cannot take his eyes off the football before he has both hands on it. He cannot look downfield. You'll see Gatehouse turning his head just as that football approached it, lost his concentration and dropped the football. Ball was thrown quite hard. Perhaps he did not have to throw it quite that hard because it traveled such a short distance.
That play was just piled up at about the 35-yard line.
The stop by Wilson.
Trap on the play. You'll see that Brett Larson, the right tackle for Lafayette, is being trapped by the off guard, Art Gable in this case. A couple yards on the play, not bad.
By the way, you saw number 81 in there a while ago. They've changed the number. That 81 is Frank Corbo for Lafayette. The ball, of course, had gone over to Columbia. In motion, Bill Reggio, number 84. The ball was handed off to tailback Tom Norton, number 38, and stopped by right linebacker, number 65, George Wilson. Defensive line for Lafayette: Wallace, Dreyer, Green, Larson, and Calhoun from left end through right end, with the middle guard, the man that Sam told you about a little while ago, Green, is really outstanding. All right, it's third down and about 2 yards. Cabrera and Powell in a split backfield setup, faking for both a rollout, and a receiver, James Powell, number 32, is over
Behind the ball and get too much on the football.
Mike Scavina in punt formation for Columbia, standing on about his 26-yard line, and deep for Lafayette is number 22, Carmine DeSantis. He's going to get the ball in a hurry and try and run with it. 25, he changes his pace. He's up to the 30, tries to cut back again, gets a couple of extra yards to about the 33, 34-yard line.
Well, we'll see now if Lafayette can establish that running game that Coach Bill Russo said he would like to establish on the opening of the game today. Last week they've had more, well, in their previous two games, they've had more success passing the football than running with the ball, although they've run with it twice as often as they've passed.
We've got about 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first period. Columbia leading by a score of 3-0. Lafayette's ball, 1st and 10 on their own 33-yard line. Frank Novak keeping the ball, pitching out now as he faked a run to Roger Shepko, who got to about the 40, where he was hit by number 94, Doug Lindgren, the outside linebacker, and brought down on the 42.
Good yardage, as a matter of fact. It's now 2nd and, what's that, 2.5, Mel?
About. Tom Quinn's out wide to the right. You got a flanker out wide to the right, and there, running with the ball, is Roger Shepko, picking a nice hole, changing his direction and going all the way down to the Columbia 45-yard line before Tom Nevitt, number 45, right linebacker, could bring him down. That was a good run.
Good run, flashy type runner, twisting, turning. Some guys just plod on. Bill Russo thinks that Roger Shepko is his best athlete.
They ran that play with a slot right. And this time they got Tom Quinn out to the right. He is the split end. You got the same formation, but to the opposite side this time, Sam. And the keeper by the corner. Now he pitches to the deep man, Craig Williams.
Because the key to that play is the quarterback is optioning off of the defensive end. Looking at the defensive end. If the defensive end is about to come in and tackle him, he will pitch it out. Now watch Tim Conway on this play.
It's 40
coming
he pitches
up.
to Shepko.
And this time he pitches back, and once again, pretty good yardage by Roger Shepko.
2nd down, a little over a yard. Williams is 30, Shepko is 40. It is Shepko deep, and he's got the ball, and he's going for the 1st down and more across the 30 to about the 26-7-yard line of Columbia, straight up the middle. Chris Meininger, the left cornerback, made the stop. And with 2.5 minutes left to go in the first period, Columbia's leading 3-0. Lafayette on a drive, Sam.
We said that Columbia is going to have
Gain
to
of 10
stop
yards and
the
a first
running
down
attack. You
at
see
the
Mr.
27.
Shepko once again carrying the football, breaking 2 tackles, struggling for extra yardage. Not only a good twister and turner, but somebody who can put his head down and pick up the extra yard for you also.
Roger Shepko, the deep man, holding the ball is Frank Novak, passing incomplete.
Roger Shepko now has carried the ball 6 times, about 52 yards, Mel. Why throw the football again? You want to keep that defense off balance. Here you see him fake it into the line. The play action goes well with a running game that Lafayette is trying to establish, hoping to draw those linebackers in. Pretty good coverage on the play. Tough pass to complete.
Number 5, Jim Witherspoon, defended for Columbia. You'll see a lot of him normally. Right up the middle this time to about the 20-yard line. Craig Williams, number 30, carried with Vince Pellini, number 46.
Williams carries.
Pellini is a good
Stopped by
football
Nevis.
player.
Yeah, they think that he's a major leaguer. Those are the words that Bob Nazo used yesterday in describing Mr. Pellini. But Craig Williams looks pretty big and strong to me. Not heavily into weights, as are the rest of the Lafayette players, but according to the coach, he's probably got more raw strength than anyone else on the field.
3rd down and about 7.